Good morning from England. If you join JaydaFransen's the British Freedom Party, which is aiming to protect our girls from these attacks, these pedo gangs, not grooming gangs. Which stupid far left individual thought of the name grooming? Grooming to make it sound slightly less vicious and sadistic and dirty and filthy than it really is. The pedos, the majority of whom, let's say, are non-Christian based. Yeah, if you join the British Freedom Party, you'll get this copy of the Magna Carta, as you see, 1213. You've got to realise that this is still very early on in English history. I mean, like King Richard the Lionheart's Third Crusade to try and free Jerusalem of the barbarians, and very successfully he engaged and defeated the Muslim hordes, roughly at least 12 occasions, despite being often being outnumbered. It's quite obvious from accounts of the day in Jaffa, for instance, the Battle of Jaffa, which is now in Israel, of course. Jaffa, where the oranges come from. Basically, they were terrified. Saladin's troops basically ran away like a gang of scared girls. They did. I remember the exact words. Paedo, their historian, made good notes at the time, and he actually said, quote, "The Christian crusaders stood there, snarling like dogs of war, unafraid to die where they stood. Our men were scared of them and refused to fight them." That's more or less word for word. But as you see, this Magna Carta, which is way back in 1215, around the side you can read off all the different royal houses, the lords, or Geoffrey de Bleu or whatever. I mean, I haven't looked at it very carefully. This will be written in Latin, I predict, because this could educate a lot of people. I mean, what a lot of people fail to recognise, including a few of my Protestant friends, especially when those were written first, is that England, certainly not Scotland necessarily, but England was entirely Catholic until about 1520, until the so-called Reformation. For Reformation, read skewering priests, burning them alive, robbing all the gold and burning all the monasteries down. Yeah, and the churches. That's what the Reformation was, a sadistic campaign to destroy the Catholic Church in the UK, in England, as it was. At this time in UK history, we all spoke Latin, you see. Common English, as normal English we refer to, didn't come in until the Shakespearean day. In fact, he was one of the leading proponents that brought this language in. This is just a matter of history, there's no denying this. I mean, up until, well, I don't know exactly when, but much later than this, we all spoke Latin, because we were under not the rule exactly, we were under the rule of our kings and lords, but we were under the guardianship, shall we say, of the Pope in Rome, as the Catholic Church still is, and of course all had to pay homage to Rome, and we were a very devout country at the time. I mean, as islands remain so to a large extent, Southern Ireland, I would say. You've got to realise that when Christianity spread out from Palestine, Israel as they've renamed it after butchering thousands of the people, you've got to realise that the whole of the Middle East was Christian for 550, 600 years before a certain monster mo on western side of the Arabian Peninsula actually invented this ideology. I won't mention it, but you know which ideology I'm talking about. And it's nothing to do with peace, never was. It's always to do with this sadistic, paranoid, probably a paranoid schizophrenic, I think, from some of his delusions, or delusions he had where oh yeah, their Lord had given them the authority to massacre people. And indeed, it's written in their Q book and their H writings that when his men felt guilty about executing hundreds and hundreds of men, there were 900 massacred at the first village, Banu Qurayza. Yeah, he actually cut the first few throats, or beheaded the first few people himself. This is the leader of that ideology. That's PBUH, so beautiful, so lovely. Not. He certainly wasn't. He was an absolute beast, even in his day. I mean, like Richard Lionheart, they say, oh, well, he lived in France. Well, yeah, he was banished to France because he made war on his dad. Was it King Henry II, was it? He made war on his dad, and so did his brother. This, what was his name? William, was it? The bad guy of Robin Hood fame. Yeah, they made war on their own dad. So, and in true Christian style, they went to the father's castle expecting to be beheaded and tortured, and they knelt before their father. He gave forgiveness to his sons, his errant sons, for making war, trying to steal his throne, steal his empire, and they both duly kissed the ring of their father and were forgiven. Would you believe this? This is a time when they would be thrown in jail till the dying day for like 70 years, or normally they'd be beheaded on the spot under orders of the king. But no, because they were pious Christians, and Richard the Lionheart was extremely pious, there are still songs, ancient songs with music using harpsichords and such like that Richard the Lionheart, King Richard I, actually wrote for the Catholic Church, and they survived today on YouTube. I might even try and put a link underneath. I digress. But anyway, if you want to join, if you're worried about your kids' future and these nonsense 100 genders which they're telling our kids about, there's not just there's not just two genders and a few little variations and peculiarities. No, according to our teachers, there's over 100 genders. And of course, now it's officially recognised that even dogs and dolphins are racist and sexist. What a pile of bullshit, eh? Right, I'll just throw my little toy. Yeah, this is related, kind of related. It's always been a hobby of mine since I used my brother's bow when I was back about 12. But primarily, I wanted to show you this. I've got a call. I have to go, guys. Bye-bye.